Welcome to this YouTube video. This is the sixth chapter covering export pricing. This video will give you examples how to calculate and decide on export pricing. There are, however, many more options. You could have your own organization overseas or use local companies for your activities. The latter is most common for small and medium-sized companies. We will concentrate on that in this video. You will find more solutions covered in the book. Many companies base their export pricing on their manufacturing cost or their domestic price. This may seem like an easy way to calculate an export price. Is that right? On the next few slides, I will demonstrate export calculations. Your manufacturing cost is only of interest when you calculate your profit. Your profit and export prices are based on what the customer is willing to pay, the freight and duty costs, and how many distribution levels want to make money. If you charge too much for a product buyers won't buy, if you charge too little, say goodbye to the profits. What you can charge for a product and service depends on what end users are willing to pay. Pricing also reflects what people can afford. That is the base you have to use when calculating export pricing. McDonald's has different price in each country, so has IKEA. Consider if sales taxes is included. Luxury goods usually have a high price level. Some have luxury taxes included in the price. You have to research the local pricing before making your own calculation. This is a very common solution for exporters. They have a main import in a country like France, and that company has a number of local dealers. In this case, we have calculated a freight of 9% and a customs duty of 6%. The importer wants to make 40% in profit and the dealer 35%. When you add up freight, customs duty, and the profit margin of the distributor and dealer, you get a factor of 292.26. That means if the sales price in a foreign country is $292.26, your export price would be $100, which is only 1/3 of the selling price. Note there's different calculation in Europe, where you pay customs duty also on the freight. In USA and Canada, there is no duty on the freight part, so the landed cost will be slightly lower. It is based only on the export price. If you add two more distribution levels, the factor increased to more than 5 times the export price. You get less than 20% of what the customer pays. The more levels of distribution you have, the more companies there are that need to make a profit, and you will get less. Your new export price will be lower than with a shorter distribution. This is a solution where you sell direct to local dealers. We increased the freight cost from 9% to 11% because the shipment to each dealer is smaller than in the earlier example, and we gave the local dealer a higher margin, in this case 45%. You get a factor of 2.13, which means you get 47% of the end user price. Because you're working directly with the local dealer, communication is better than when you have more distribution levels. In this solution, you have representative in a foreign country. You give the dealer slightly less profit, 40% compared with 45% in early example. In this case, you have to give the representative 15% commission. So you do not get 100, you only get 85% of the export price. That result is that you keep 43%. A good solution where your workload is lower. All those calculations are explained in the detail in the book. Also remember the details we discussed in the earlier chapter about distribution. You are selling a handsaw with an end user price of $45 and your manufacturing cost is $12. If you have a long distribution channel with 4 levels between you and the end user, you have a factor 5.27 times the export price, which means you get 45% divided by 5.27, which is $8.54. Your manufacturing cost was $12, so you're losing $3.46 per saw, not a profitable solution. If you cut off 2 distribution levels, you make $3.10 in profit, or 21%. By shortening the distribution channels, you become more competitive and keep more money. If you want to study this slide more, just pause this slide and study the calculation. In this case, with a short distribution chain you sell to local dealers, your export price is $45 divided by 2.139, which is $21.03. Your profit is $21.03 minus manufacturing cost of $12. Your profit is increased to $9.03, or 43%. What have you learned from this thing? Your selection of distribution solution influences heavily on your export price and profit margin. So do freight cost and customs duty. For every percentage you reduce those, you increase your own profit accordingly. Everybody has to make money. Don't be greedy. Share with your foreign partner. When you ask for a quote on freight costs, ask for door-to-door price. That means you have all the costs included, all in one currency. That makes it easier to calculate your export price. Read Chapter 6, Export Pricing, in the book for more details. A lower export price from the manufacturing country does not always mean a lower cost when arriving in a foreign market. In this case, we have a Danish company importing shoes from China and Spain. The price is €10 from China and €11.50 from Spain. However, Spain is in the European Union, so there is no customs duty, but there is a 12.5% from China. The distance is shorter from Spain than China. The freight is only 3% compared with 8% from China. So the cost landed in Denmark is €12.15 from China, while it's €11.85 from Spain. It costs less from Spain despite a higher export price. The Spanish supplier will ship a lower number of shoes per order than China, and it's easier to control the quality because Spain is closer to Denmark. The shipping time is only a couple of days compared with 5 weeks from China. You could see there are many factors to consider. There are many different solutions for distribution and ways to calculate pricing. Here are some examples. In licensing, you share the profit with your licensee. The higher profit margins, the higher the percentage of royalty you will get. Intercompany pricing, that means between companies you own in different countries. You cannot decide pricing without considering the rules in a foreign country. There is a box you have to mark in the customs form dealing with arm's length ownership. You cannot cheat by having an extra low export price to minimize customs duty. International companies like car manufacturers or large construction companies buy where they could get the best price. You have to make an international price list for them. In government contracts, there is normally a tendering process. You have to make the best offer. Local price decides your pricing. Manufacturing cost is only used as a base to calculate profitability. Increased number of distribution levels reduces your profit, so thus higher shipping costs and customs duties. Look at all alternative distribution so you can maximize your profit and still be competitive. Look at all factors that influence your and your foreign partner's cost. By packing the right way, you could reduce your shipping costs, so also by selecting the right type of freight. In the picture on the slide, you pay both for the weight and the pallet and the size when setting the freight cost instead of just shipping the small box to a much lower price. Remember your marginal cost calculation from earlier chapter. By increasing your sales volume, your unit cost is reduced. Pricing is complex. Selecting the right is important for ensuring you are competitive and you make money. I have given you some samples of the chapter export pricing. For more examples and details, read our book. If you do not have the book, visit our website exportpro.com. Click Look Inside. You will see the full introduction to the book, reading instructions, table of content, and the first page of each chapter. There is plenty of other useful information on our website, like articles, videos, question and answer, seminars and workshops, and an extensive list of useful links. You can also search for specific topics in the search area, like cash against document, and it will take you to the place on the website that is described, or search for currency, and it will give you a number of sources on that topic. I hope you got some ideas what is covered in this chapter of my book. Each chapter has more detailed information on each subject. Good luck in your international business. Please remember, international business is not only export, but a two-way trade including importing, joint venture, licensing, and much more. Visit our website exportpro.com for more information.